I never thought a single text could shatter the quiet rhythm of my life. That evening, my phone buzzed. I picked it up, expecting a routine message. Instead, my chest sank as I read her words. "I'll be working overnight with my boss, John. Tonight, don't wait up." The casual tone, the ease with which she typed it, felt like a slap across the face. My mind spun. John, overnight, alone. My gut twisted with a mix of fear, anger, and disbelief. I stared at the phone, gripping it until my knuckles turned white. I wanted to scream, to demand an explanation, to break down and beg her to tell me it was a misunderstanding. But something inside me, a quiet ember of resolve, refused to give her that power. I swallowed the lump in my throat and typed back. "Thanks for letting me know." No emojis. No sarcasm, no drama. Just a simple acknowledgement that spoke louder than 1,000 confrontations. I spent the next hour pacing our home, heart hammering. Memories flashed violently, years of quiet compromise. The way she laughed at my jokes. The nights we stayed awake talking about dreams. The mornings she made coffee just how I liked it. And now that life seemed like a fragile illusion, a mirage dissolving before my eyes. I thought about trust, about promises, about the sacredness of a shared life. And I realized something horrifying, that trust might already have been broken. I couldn't stay there, not like this. Not as the man left wondering while she worked. Through the night in someone else's company, my mind raced with possibilities, all of them painful. I knew I had to act, to reclaim some piece of dignity, even if it was small. That's when the idea struck me, sudden, sharp, and cathartic. I would let her world feel the chaos she had invited into mine. I opened her wardrobe and began methodically packing. Shirts, dresses, shoes, jackets. I didn't leave a single piece untouched. Each garment folded and boxed with trembling hands. Every move charged with a quiet fury I had never allowed myself to feel before. As I worked, I wasn't just moving clothes. I was reclaiming control, asserting my presence in a situation where I had felt invisible for far too long. By the time the last box was sealed, my body ached with adrenaline and grief. I carried the first boxes to my car, my thoughts swirling. Where would I take them? My mind settled on John. If she wanted to spend the night there, she would see, perhaps finally, the consequences of her choices. It was not about revenge. Exactly, not about humiliation, but about a statement. Boundaries exist, and they have been crossed. Driving to John's office, my hands gripped the wheel so tightly they turned white. My chest throbbed with anger, betrayal, and a heartbreak I couldn't name. I parked, carried the boxes inside, and left them at the door, leaving behind a note. "You can keep these company overnight. Maybe they'll keep you company better than I did." I didn't wait to see the aftermath. I didn't want to. The act itself was enough. A reclaiming of self, a refusal to be silent. That night I returned home to an emptiness that was both familiar and terrifying. The house, normally a sanctuary, felt hollow without her presence, without the laughter that once softened every corner. I poured a drink and sat in silence, letting the storm inside me rage. I thought about love, how fragile it is, how easily it can be undermined by deception. I thought about trust, how it is built slowly and shattered in a single act. And I realized that sometimes standing up for yourself means creating boundaries so stark they can't be ignored. When she came home the next morning, there was no apology in her eyes. There was no defensiveness either, only the flicker of confusion, the brief recognition that her actions had consequences. We didn't speak much. Words felt unnecessary, too heavy, too dangerous. The boxes remained in the living room like silent witnesses. And in that quiet tension, I understood a truth I hadn't fully accepted before. Love is not enough when respect is absent. In the weeks that followed, the memory of that night lingered in every glance, every conversation. Our relationship, once familiar and comforting, had been irreversibly altered. I loved her, yes, but love alone could not erase betrayal, could not undo the choices she had made. And I understood, painfully, that sometimes the only way to reclaim yourself in a broken world is to act decisively, even when the act is messy, uncomfortable, and loud. It wasn't about humiliation or revenge. It was about boundaries, dignity, and refusing to be invisible. It was about telling myself, finally, that I mattered too, that my heart, my home, and my life were worth protecting. And in the quiet aftermath, I felt a strange sense of clarity. I had drawn a line, and for the first time in a long time, I had stood on it unshaken.